Hello, everyone. I am going to try out Spec Kit today. Spec Kit is a way of doing spec-driven development, STD, an acronym that I learned today. But I have been asked about Spec Kit quite a lot. And, once I get asked about something enough times, I realize it is time to just dive in and try it myself. So that is the goal for today. And here we go. Let's take a look and see what this spec kit is. All right, so spec-driven development, we're going to start with a spec, which becomes executable somehow. All right, now first we have to install the specify CLI. Okay, so it recommends doing that with UV, using UV tool install. I'm not sure if I've actually even used that before, so let's give that a go. Let's see. All right. Let's try this. UV tool install. Okay, so I've got UV in my global path, and it looks like it did install it. Okay, so now we've got the specify executable, and then we can start using it. So okay, it says create a new project. Okay. All right. Now the question is, what is the project going to be? We'll just call it Spec Kit project for now. So we figure out what it is. And then it says to choose your AI assistant. Okay, well, typically I use Copilot, so we'll go with that. And script type is shell. All right, so it just did a bunch of things. It said initialize, check required tool, Okay, so it was just setting up. It says project ready. And it says consider adding a .github to get ignored or to get ignored to prevent accidental credentials. Normally, I would not put .github in get ignore. Normally, I would put like .env and .get ignore. So that's a bit interesting. Then it says to go into the product folder and then start using / commands. So I assume this is the order. First, we make a constitution. Then we specify. Then we implement. Then we plan. Create the implementation plan. Then we create the task, and then finally we implement. Okay, so I have used a process like this before, just not with Spec Kit itself. We can do Spec Kit.clarify, which we do before plan, Spec Kit.analyze, and Spec Kit.checklist. Okay, all right, so we're going to go into the project and then say, and then it says do / I don't think we would do / right? Maybe it means we would do, we can't just do, or maybe we do the project. All right, I'm sorry, I'm already confused. Okay, where would we run / from? Maybe they mean we run the / from VS Code because it knows we're in VS Code. Is that perhaps that's what it means? Let's see if we get, okay, launch your AI assistant. The spec commands are available in the assistant. Okay, all right. I was missing that bit of information. So that means we are going to open this using VS Code. So let's go and open it using VS Code Insiders and open up this new project. Here we go. Okay. So now inside this project, we have a bunch of agents. Okay, so these are all implemented as agents, so that makes sense. And we can actually look at each of them and see what they do. We can see some of them do have handoffs, which is interesting. That means they hand off to a sub-agent. So constitution is the first one, and that one has a handoff to specify. All right. So let's just see what happens. SpecKit.constitution. Well, this is an agent actually, so we wouldn't usually do a / we would do here. So in the agent menu, so here in the agent menu, we can see all these. So what if I just select constitution, okay? And then What do I do? Okay. All right. Launch your AI assistant. Use the Spec Kit contribution to commit your project's governing principles. This all sounds really formal, but okay. Your project governing principles and development guidelines that will create guide all subsequent development. So it says create principles, focus on code quality, test understandings. Okay. I'm not sure if I was gonna do. I wanted to make something kind of fun, so I'm not sure if I really need a constitution, but let's just see what happens if we just straight up. We don't even have to do the slash. We're just gonna say this. It feels like these principles would be similar across projects, and I would just be copying them in. Like usually I have like my Bicep best practices, Python best practices, etc. So I don't necessarily want an LLM to be writing those from scratch for every project. But let's see what it does. And there's the prompts. Oh, I see. So each of these, okay. Each of these prompts, all it does is just trigger you into using an agent. Okay. So that's how they've been able to support slash in VS Code, is that each prompt is literally just saying this prompt uses that agent. That is very interesting. I haven't seen that before. All right. Then under dot specify, we have some memory. So look, here's just like, it looks like a raw, just an example constitution. We've got scripts. I think these must have all been copied from, brought down when we did the specify init. So we can see development guidelines. That looks like an agents.md. We've got checklist template. If we do a checklist, the plan, the spec, user scenarios. Okay, so the spec is user stories, like similar to behavioral testing. And then the tasks. And then what's under VS Code? We just have some auto approve. Okay, we are approving all bash. Oh, okay, living on the wild side there. And then some prompt file recommendations in the chat welcome view. Interesting. Okay, so it says constitution has been created at constitution.md. So what are its core principles? Type safety. Oh, okay, all right, sure. I mean, this is all good, it's reasonable, but saying I have my own best practices for my things that I would probably tell it to make the constitution based off of my best practices, but that's fine. So you could, while you're doing it, you could point out any existing best practices or just copy it in. Okay, so that's fine. Suggested ratify constitution. Why is it using such formal language? I guess also I'm not sure how great our constitution is working out right now in America, so I'm a little burnt. But yeah, I mean, in theory, constitution is a good thing. I just don't know about this this verbiage. Okay, so we made a constitution, which was pretty generic right now. Now the important part is this specify. So build an application. Okay, so this one's like a photo album. Okay, great. This is a fun stuff. So I want to do actually something somewhat fun because even though I don't think that this is necessarily the best use for Spec Kit, but I have been told you can use Spec Kit for fun. And I have been told I need to do more vibe coding for fun. So we are going to do something fun. So I want to making a static app that generates charade, printable charades. The thing is, I want to play charades with my 3-year-old and my 6-year-old, and I need better charade cards so that they can follow the cards. So I need words and I need images. I want to make that generates printable charade cards across different themes. Each printable should be easy to cut into squares. Each card needs a word and a picture. I want the pictures to all be either emojis or public domain images from Wikipedia. Okay. All right, let's see how it works. Hello, hi everyone in the chat. Has anyone used Spec Kit before? All right, so it is checking our Git status right now, it looks like. And and it's specifying, it's following this prompt, which is actually using this agent, right? So you can see this one has handoffs to creating a plan and clarifying spec requirements. So these are like potential handoffs it can do, which is when one agent hands off to another agent. So we have the user input. It has this user arguments. I don't know if VS Code actually like puts this in here or if this is just for show. But basically it's okay. It's making a branch. Oh, that's why it was going through all that effort to understand. So it really likes using Git. That makes sense. It's from GitHub. So I actually hadn't run, I don't think, did I run Git in it? I don't know, but it made a branch. Or I think it's making a branch right now. And checking for existing branches. Oh, that's why it did all this. So fetch all remote branches, find the highest feature number. Okay. Determine the next available number. So this is following a very structured branch name system where it's going to do like each feature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's interesting. So it's going to make branches ordered with feature names. Then it's going to do this template. Look at the spec template. And in the spec template, this shows all these like user scenarios. So it's really it's doing everything with like user stories. So this could work as user stories. And now this one is making, okay, and now it's making checklists. So maybe it moved on already to, okay, spec written. So it made the spec. It did quite a bit here. Okay, so it made the feature branch. So I think if we will go to our terminal and check the branch, I assume we're in a branch now. Let's see, git status. And yeah, 001 charade cards. So it numbered the branch at 1. And there we go. So it created the branch. Now it wrote a spec and made a bunch of user stories, selects a theme, generates a printable page, acceptance when they select. Okay. Yeah, this is, I don't know if any of you have ever done this style of user testing. I think I did it with Capybara, with Rails apps, I believe. So you start with given, when, and then. Given, when, then. And you write out all your user stories with given, when, and then. So we did the spec.md. And then the next thing it wanted to do, let's see, because right now we are on specify. So if we look back at the actual agent, it created the spec, and now it's doing the specification quality validation. So generates a checklist file using the checklist template structure. And for each feature, it has a checklist for whether it's ready. And then review the spec against each checklist for each item permits of pass or fails. Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. So it's like writing tests against your spec, but you don't know code yet. Very interesting. All right. Making for AI. Okay. All right. So let's see. It made the spec. Now it wants to create the checklist directory. So we'll just allow it to make that directory. So that's under specs. So we have these specs, checklists. Interesting. So it even made a folder name based off the branch. So I guess we're going to keep our progress as we go. So here's our requirements.md. So no content quality. I don't quite understand what this is. Purpose, validate specification completements. And I guess this is just a way of forcing the LLM to go through each of these boxes and say, okay, there's no implementation. It's focused on user value. Everything's measurable. Feature readiness. Okay, so this is just a way of getting the LLM to confirm that the spec meets all the requirements it put here. Notes. Okay. All right. Great. Oh, and look at this. This is cute. If you notice this right here, proceed from speckit.specify to either build technical plan or clarify spec requirements. So it knows, I think that's because of the handoffs that it has in here, that it knows those are the next possible. Oh yeah, so that's how I've never used handoffs for. So when you do an agent with handoffs, it actually explicitly shows you what those next handoffs can be. Okay, so let's look back at the README and see what it says. So it says the next thing you want to do is a plan. I'd also kind of thought we'd want to like look at our spec and see we agreed with it, but I don't know. It doesn't say. What is clarify? Right. Normally when I'm doing this sort of PRD, I would read it first and ensure that I like it. All right, let me just keep everything first so we don't have the things. System must generate a current, must display one word, one correct, must support emoji, must printable output, must function as a Okay, well, looks good. Looks good. All right, now we're going to do plan. So this time we're going to do tech start. Okay. Tech stack details. Okay. So now, since I want this to be a static app that can just run on GitHub pages because I don't want to maintain anything. So let's see, I can go and I can say build technical plan and create a plan for the spec. Oh, that's cute. So that came from, I see. So when you do this, then you can prompt it. Okay. So that's cool. Create a plan for, I am building with vanilla HTML and web components templates when needed. I am not using React or any build system. There is no backend, so all cards must be pre-computed and stored in JSON. I will deploy onto GitHub pages. All right. Use Bootstrap for CSS when needed. All right, let's see if it can obey my plan to only use vanilla HTML, because I know that LLMs really like to use React, and we're going to try not to use that. I mean, when you're doing a static app, there's lots of, you could use like a static app framework, a static site generator. My personal website is actually built with Flask and then Frozen Flask in order to turn the Flask into just HTML that I upload to GitHub pages. So there's many ways that you can ultimately generate a static site, because it's all about your how you build it. But here, I don't even necessarily want there to be much of a build step at all. I just want it to be easy peasy. But we'll see. My dream. So now it's coming up with plan.md. And let's see. So the user wants me to create. And so here, let's take a look at this one. This is plan. And it can go off to tasks and checklist. So user input, setup. There is a script which does some setup stuff. It loads the constitution. It generates research.md. Did it do that? Research.md. Oh, there we go. Phase 0, generate research.md. Generate data model.md, contracts, and quickstart.md. And then command ends after phase 2 planning. So phase 0, research agents. Okay, and then consolidate findings in research.md. And then you do data model, standard REST GraphQL patterns. Okay, well, I wasn't going to use REST or GraphQL, but presumably it's going to ignore that. I'm just going to use JSON. And then it has a script that it updates. Okay. And then, so the ultimate outputs are going to be data model, contracts, quick start, and an agent-specific file. Okay. All right. So it is doing a bunch of research. here. Oh, and it's trying to figure out how to test it. That'll be really interesting to see how it decides to test it without using a build system. That'll be fun. All right, well, it's going to make a contracts directory. So if it's already done contracts, that must mean research.md is complete. So it says use native web elements, use template elements. Lit is actually the one that I use the most often. So it's good that I considered that. Implementation pattern, great. This is what I wanted. So I wonder how we'll do with that. So you can create like custom HTML elements. Then it's doing print CSS, which is good. Using CSS grid, I think that makes sense because we're literally making a grid. That's nice. Wikipedia Commons, so it has an idea for how to get the images. That's good. That's I guess it's a PHP API. We'll see if that's right. Let's see, Bootstrap. Consider Tailwind. No, do not want that. Custom CSS, more work. Bootstrap NPM requires. Okay, so yeah, I figured out Bootstrap. Testing without build system, use Vitest, and Playwright for end-to-end tests. That's good. I have used Jest before. I have used Mocha, and I've used Cypress. Good. Very well thought out. This is how it would look like. And then we have EDE testing. Now, you will notice there's no Python in this. And normally, if you watch me, you know I do a lot of Python. But as it turns out, I actually do like JavaScript and used to do quite a lot of JavaScript. So I'm okay with this being JavaScript heavy. And then let's see. It says we're going to use a service worker for offline caching. I don't know that we need that. I really don't think we need caching for a charades website. I'm only going to go to like once a month. Why do we need caching? We don't need caching. Ugh. Okay. All right. So how do I get feedback and say, don't do that? All right. Let's see. Okay. The problem is I don't know what else followed from this research.md because I don't want it to do caching, but I don't see whether I'm just supposed to edit it or what. Okay, then we have data models. All right, that's fine, I guess. We have an index schema. Okay, it generated a JSON schema for the JSON. Okay, so that's all under the contracts. All right. So I just want to make sure. Okay, I do not think we need service working. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can try type spec kit dot clarify. Spec kit dot clarify. All right, and what is clarify? Identify under specified. Let's just see if there's an example of it here. Spec kit, like just how they might clarify. It says recommended before spec kit dot plan. So I'm not sure that we'd want to use it at this point. I think that would have been in, yeah, because I don't, so I'm not sure where. I think we just have to say like, I don't want to implement service working caching. That seems like overkill. So I mean, it's all in the in its history. So let's see if so research.md, maybe it was in plan.md that it decided it wanted constraints. GitHub pages hosting, no builds in the caching, browser. Oh, okay. It was in plan.md. So if I hadn't noticed it in plan.md because honestly there was a lot in plan.md. So I could have modified it at that point. Okay, so great. All right, so now we've done that. So proceed from plan. So do we want to do tasks or do we want to do checklist? Which one should we do? Let's see. Create a technical implementation plan, break it down into tasks. All right. Well, it seems to indicate we should do tasks next in this one. So we can take a look and see what checklist was. Checklist created. Okay. Our unit test for requirements writing, not for verification testing. Okay. All right. We'll just do spec. Oh, no, we're going to do tasks. All right. We're just going to say create tasks. Okay. That's it. I just clicked it and it was good to go. So that was from plan. All right. So now it is making tasks. Yeah, I think what you'd have to do is, you really like with any sort of structure like this where you're doing spec driven, PRD driven, whatever you want to call it, driven. You want to like read through things each step of the way and go through them. But one of the things that like LLMs can write a lot, and sometimes they write more than you necessarily want to read. And so it can be, a little overwhelming to actually go through and read every little thing in there. But yeah, ideally that is what you do to check if there's anything that you're like, oh, I don't want that, right? I really glazed over this also because I'm live streaming. But this looks reasonable. Data, themes, tests. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, task generated, task.md, total task 55, parallel opportunities 16, phases 6. Ooh. All right, complete through phase 3 for a working app with the animals theme. Okay. All right, it is going to make lots and lots of things. All right, so I could look through this. P can run in parallel. How is it going to run in parallel? Is the agent going to run it in parallel? I'm not sure that the agent's really going to run in parallel. Oh, why is it making a pack? It's making a package.json. I think that's just for local development. Let me just ask, is the package.json just for local dev stuff? Foundational data themes. All right. So the question is, do we then go analyze? Oh, proceed. Okay. All right. So package.json is just dev stuff. Test, playwright, ESLint, and prettier. No NPM dependencies. Oh no, John says, John says it says 3 days. Where did it say 3 days? Oh no. Where is it gonna say 3 days? Where does it say it'll take 3 days? Let me see. Days. I don't see it, but just tell me where. Complete through phase. All right. Okay, so let's do. Can we complete with just emojis for now and not the Wikipedia and add that after your end tasks. Okay. So let's see. We have 2 follow-ups here is analyze for consistency. That's using Spec Kit analyze and then implement project. So we could probably do analyze first and then implement. So maybe we do analyze first just to see. All right, it is editing, task.md, polish and cross-cutting concern, paper size selector. Okay. Keyboard navigation support, add ARIA levels. I mean, I'm glad it's making it accessible. Lighthouse CI step. What is Lighthouse CI? Why? Wait, what is Lighthouse CI? Shouldn't we add a GitHub action? I handle very long words. I feel like phase 5 is too much polish. Lighthouse CI. Oh, okay. Google Lighthouse. I see. I guess that's fun. All right, but we should do current scope 46 tasks. I see. It got moved to future section. Okay, that's nice. So it still has the Wikipedia stuff, but that's in a future section. So it says to do complete through phase 3. All right. Let's try this analyze for consistency just to see what it does and see if we get some inconsistency here. So it is just looking to see everything exists. So it's like running a bash script here from this thing here. Okay, so it just checks to see that everything exists. It is looking for issues. Looks like it found some issues. Okay. Okay. Coverage summary tables, black and white legibility, testing standards, code quality, critical issues. Oh my. Testing gap. Either we need to add test tasks. Couldn't testing be a phase in the tasks? And maybe, what is stylelint? I've only used prettier, ESLint, remove visual regression testing plan. John asked, when will we get compact in VS Code Copilot chat? I thought we did get compact. Did we not? Compact? Nope. Oh, we got compact in the CLI, right? That's why I was thinking of it. CLI. Where's our CLI at? Other CLI. Compact. I see. Yeah, we do have that in the CLI. I don't know. I'll just ping Pierce. When will we get compact in VS Code Copilot chat? All right. I just asked. Yeah, I really only use the chat too. Okay, so stylelint is a CSS linter. It catches errors. Since using prettier, it's unnecessary. Remove from the plan. All right, added Fave 5 testing, remove silent, remove visual regression. All right, good. So this is setup, foundational, US1, US2. All right, so great. Looks good. So then we're going to do Spec Kit dot implement the phases. So let's take a look at these phases again. Foundational, phase 3, printable cards. That looks like we do want. Do we want phase 3? Okay, implement phases 0 through 3. I don't even know if there's a 0, but we're doing 0 through 3. Let's see. And now it's compacting. We were just talking about compacting. Now it is compacting. So, VS Code compacts when it thinks you're getting close to the context window. I think there is isn't there a better way of seeing, let's see here, you can see, where do we see the context? Context? Nope. I thought they just added something, context window. There's so many buttons here. Custom tool sets, chat settings, comp files. Oh, this one. There we go. I found it. Okay, so context window. All right, so if we click on this, we can see the context window is at 72%. Presumably that's after it just did the summarization. And we can see system instructions taking up 5.8%, tool definitions 12%, user context is 31%, tool results is 18%. And then files. So it's interesting. So what's taking up the most is the messages. And that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if there's a secret way to trigger it. I have asked the case. All right, all checklists complete. Proceed to load implementation. All right, so it is going into implementation time. I'm just going to allow it to make dir all the time because that takes too much time. So we're going to have it implement and see how it does. I see like there's CSS, data, JS, you know, so it's making stuff here. Now the test would be after it does all this, I should try the same thing just using plan mode. Because now, you know, because Spec Kit was made back when our models weren't as good and they needed like a lot more hand-holding, stay on track and all that stuff. Now our models are quite good. So interesting thing is, you know, could we just do the same thing? I'm going to allow in this session to edit package.json. You know, would we be able to accomplish the same thing if we simply used plan mode? All right, so we have a charade card generator, an index, and app.css, data, JS, components. All right, it's still building. It's still building a bunch of the files here. So to take a look at stuff as it's building. All right, I think we just got some more stuff coming. Themes.json, okay, and then themes. So I wanted to pre-generate the theme, so that'll be kind of fun to see what it does. So it's moving on to phase 3. So it says that it is done. Oh, and it edited it. Okay, so as it goes along, it's basically using this as to-dos, right? So it is editing them and saying that it's done with this, it's done with this, it's done with this. And then it is moving on. And now we have animals.json. Here we go. Oh, I'm excited to play this tonight. Peacock, flamingo, crocodile. Good. Now I don't see a seahorse. But of course we don't have seahorse emojis, do we? All right, so it is adding animals.json. Be nice to add a couple other themes too after. So it's still editing, so we can see as it goes along. It's implementing the JavaScript and now working on printability. Okay, so that's in JavaScript. So we have charadecard.js. You can see this extends HTML elements. So this is vanilla.js using modern web standards where you can define your own custom HTML elements. And looks roughly correct. Then we have card grid, which is another custom element here, which looks correct, I guess. Card service is loading the themes, all right, doing a little fetch, shuffling the array, generating the cards, print service. So it is, I see it is adding, it's interesting that it feels the need to add the print classes because usually I would just use @media print, but I guess it's trying to really customize it for different printers. I think that's probably overkill. I'd probably just make it be printable. App.js. Okay, this is just handling everything, and that's just vanilla JavaScript. And hopefully it's written in a way that it works in the browser and doesn't require building. That's something that models might struggle with here. All right, so let's see. So now the project structure looks good. Okay, phases 1 through 3 implementation complete. 25 tasks done. To install it, to test the MVP. Okay, so we're just going to run a local server here and see what it looks like. I think I already have a local server on 8,000, but we'll find out. Oh, cool. Look at that. All right. Animals. Okay. I guess that's selecting, generate cards. All right. And then print cards. Okay. Well, the thing is, I think we need more cards than that. Because they're not filling the space. Add more cards to animals theme so that it fills a full letter. See, at this point, I'm just going to like go off script, right? Fills a full letter page. Also remove all the fancy page size selection stuff. Just media print queries should be fine, right? All right. Well, pro tip, use Chrome. I'm in Edge. Close enough. Cards include cut guides. And we definitely need like a lot more themes. All right. So if I print them, yeah, I want it to fill the page more. I don't see any animals theme. Oh, oops. I'm in the wrong repo. Sorry. This is in the rag repo. It's so confusing. Like, what are you talking about? Okay. It wants to access data from other apps. Okay. So it is doing a little thinking here. It thinks that there's not, okay. It doesn't quite understand how many are printed on the page. I guess what we should add is the end-to-end. If we added the end-to-end testing, then I think it would be able to tell, because you can, with Playwright, you can like do print, you can like do save as PDF and stuff like that. So I think you'd be able to tell whether it looked like a good PDF. That would also be a nice thing to do, is just like just have the PDF just already available. Okay, and then now we should have a few more. Okay. All right, let's try this out. Select a theme, generate cards, and then print cards. Okay, well, not exactly filling the page here, but looks like we got a couple more there. I think we need to add some testing, huh? All right, so let's go to the right repo. I gotta close this so I stop opening it. All right. It says it now has 32. All right, move on to phase 4. Or what is phase 4? User store theme selection. All right, implement phase 4. We need it to be a little bit fancier than this. So now it's going to go back to its task.md, right? So this is kind of a nice idea, is just having the phases, right? So you can remember what you eventually want to do, but you can also kind of split it up into what you want to do now, and then give some feedback, and then what you want to do later, and then just have it, put X's when it's implementing. So presumably, if we looked at the where's the implement agent, right? So the implement agent, you can see it checks the checklist status. See, so it has instructions for how to count, and LLMs are very good at counting. And here, so it'll say like, it'll look at the checklist, and and it even has common patterns for technology. Wow. So it has a lot of like things it already knows about development. And then as it goes through, for completed tasks, make sure to mark the task off of X in the task file. So if you want to do something similar to this, but more lightweight, you could have something like this, which is like a plan file that has checklists, and then you just tell it to mark off the X. The interesting thing is that I also have the VS Code to do tool implemented right now, I think. If we go here, we can see the tool selector. It has to do enabled. So it's trying to both use task.md, and it's also using tool to do within the section. So I feel like that might be a little confusing, but it seems to be working okay. So John says, follow the demo example without changing project, and you got an error. So you got an error with a SQL WASM. I've used SQL WASM before on Khan Academy when we taught SQL. I don't know what it's using SQL WASM for, but maybe it's importing it using the wrong sort of module type, like for ECMAScript modules, maybe. All right, so we got food, actions. I want to see my children act out sushi. Okay. Actions. The action, I think, makes more sense. Holidays. Okay. Occupations. We could try that. All right. Now, okay. So let's see. Is this auto reloading? We'll find out. Okay, great. So now we can see occupations, generate cards. It's certainly fun to see what my kids think these words, these emojis mean. They're just going to act out a giant tooth. Okay. And then, all right, so it did that. All right, so now, great. Implement, now implement phase 5. Wait, what is phase 5? Let's see, testing. Yeah, it's testing. All right. So let's see how it does with testing. Implement phase 5. I mean, it's pretty cool how quickly you can make things these days. I need to make more things that will entertain my children at night. During the day, I'll make apps that will entertain them at night. But this is the best because I can print it out, and so they don't have, it's like not additional screen time, right? All right, let's keep all the changes that we had before. All right, so it is setting up tests right now. We've got a test folder with unit and end-to-end. And here we have the unit test using Vitest. I don't know how to pronounce it. We'll go with Vitest. And this one is just doing some unit tests. Okay, not very exciting. The end to, like, here's the thing. Kent Dodds, you know, he's a well-known front-end developer, and he argues we should start with end-to-end tests as you're going to learn more from them. And I would definitely agree, especially for front-end apps, that end-to-end tests are going to be more useful because there's just so much mocked out in the unit tests, and what we really care about is what the end-to-end experience is. So I've asked my colleagues what they think about Spec Kit. They say it's overkill for small products. You have to iterate over and over, especially in the task phase. But they've been getting very successful, getting good results when using strong PRDs combined with a few skills.md files. So there's many different approaches that you can use. All right, so now it's going to install. That's just install a Chromium browser so that it can run to end-to-end tests. So that should mean it. Okay, good. So it should have the end-to-end test. Is it gonna verify cards or enables print button? Displays cards in print media. Okay, this is fun. Emulate media print. So it's going to make sure that that one works. All right, let's try. All right, so question from Akileshwar. I think it is really great to start a new project with this, but will this approach work for a project which we already started? I think you could potentially use it for a big new feature. Now, the annoying thing is, though, that you would need to bring in all these files here because, you know, it relies on this .specify directory. So you'd want to bring in the .specify directory and the agents directory. So you can kind of do like specify a init for your feature in a new folder and then just copy and paste everything into your repo. I don't know if there's another way that they have to like add it to an existing thing, but the important thing is that, you know, the agent definitions are there and they do rely on templates that are here and scripts that are here. So I think you certainly could bring these into an existing project and use them to do new features. Or you could just adopt a similar approach, right? Like, and saying you can, you know, just have an agent that writes out a product plan, and then you have another agent that turns that into implementation plan. Like that's the basic idea. And I've shared this quite a bit in the past, but you know, this from from Nicholas Zakis. Like he has a really similar approach here, and it's a little more, it's a bit more lightweight, and you know, but it has a similar idea. Okay. All right, it is going to run the test. And of course, being NPM, we have packages that are out of date because you always have packages out of date, because that is my life, is having packages out of date. But it is running the test right now. We can pop this out and see. So we can see as it goes through and runs each of the tests. It looks like it might be timing out. So with Playwright, so this one, let's see, it's doing theme selection. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. I've actually never seen this from Playwright. I normally write my Playwright tests in Python. So here we got a test timeout in this one. But the other ones, it looked like they all passed. One failed. So now it's going to be, it should get that information that this is where it failed. So for some reason, it never saw that generate button, so it didn't have anything to click. So it may be that it is thinking about it now. We'll see what it's doing. Serving HTML report. That's cool. Okay. Is it going to, what is this play button? Continue in background. I wonder if I need to just quit it. Okay, I'm going to quit it so that it can keep going. Interesting. All right. So I had to quit it there because it was just kind of just serving it forever and waiting for me to quit out of it. So now it sees that one test fails and it is doing some updates there. All right, so let's just check and see how this is doing. Anyway, cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm confused because it claims 24 words, but I only see, that's only 12 cards. So where did the other ones go? I don't know. All right, it's still working on fixing up the test. Animals.json. That does look like, oh, you know what it probably is? It's probably just cached. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. That still looks like 12 words. What about food and drink? And also, we don't really need this generate button. We're not really, oh, I guess it's randomizing it. Oh, is it randomizing it? Oh, now it got even worse. Look at that. And probably have to Control C again. Control C. Okay. All right. It looks like it is basically it looks like it is generate cards. Oh, so I think it's generating 12 at a time and it's generating 12 random ones. The truth is, like, I don't really need generation. I was just trying to make it fancier. Like, it's just static cards, right? I just wanted to just alternate between them. And then you shouldn't even need a print button. You should just be able to, like, I mean, you can have a print button. Lots of websites have print buttons, but if you've done your CSS correctly, generate cards. Okay. If you've done your CSS correctly, when you click print, this is exactly right? So I shouldn't even need a print button. I mean, the print button is fine as a bonus, but in theory, when you make a website, you shouldn't need a print button because you're just using the print CSS to get it to show the right thing. So let's see now. It looks like it is okay. Unit test. All right, 9 passed. All right, so I think that it is making good progress here. And I think we've got everything passing. Okay. All right, so now we can be like, okay, remove. We don't need the generate cards button since it's all static. Just show every single card when the user selects the theme. And okay. That should simplify things quite a bit. Also, I haven't done any Git commits during this whole process. And I think generally you would want to do some commits along the way, especially if you're changing as you go along. Now, how do I make this prettier? I was told I need to make something that's like visually interesting. But we'll wait for it to change that. Also, you know what I wanted to do is add translations, right? Because my kids, well, at least the younger one is like kind of 50% Spanish, maybe like 30% Spanish realistically, since we don't really speak it at home. But I figured we should maybe what we should have at the top is like options, right? And say, like, okay, maybe you have the options for what languages to include on the cards, and then you could include multiple, because lots of people have multilingual families, right? So you could have like English and Arabic, English and Chinese, English, Chinese, Spanish. Like at a certain point, you're gonna run out of space. But maybe you get to pick 3 languages, and after that it cuts you off. So the thing is, like, eventually you end up having like additional you know features that you want to add on, which I think that's fine. It's not clear, at that point, once we're ready to add on more features, we could change task.md to keep following this plan, and maybe that's probably a good thing to do, is to stay more structured. Or at this point the agents are pretty good. You could probably just say you could delete your task.md and all that stuff, and just start adding new features. So it's doing okay. So now it's modifying the test. And here's the other thing is, like, when you write the test at this phase, I mean, it's nice because it checks things works, but if you're still actively trying to figure out what you want, then having to modify tests at this point can be actually fairly annoying, because every time you make a change, you got to rewrite those tests. Like, tests are great when you know what you want, but if you don't know what you want and you want to just be able to iterate something on more freely, just based off of like, oh, this is what it looks like, something like this, which is fun, then I would wait until like I'm like, okay, yeah, I really like this, before adding the test, just to speed up the development time, right? So here we go. So that's faster. All right. So now, okay, now I want add internationalization. I add support for multiple languages, so that user can select if they want both English and Spanish. Have check boxes for each language, with English selected by default. Also, vary the human emojis more, to have more skin tone diversity. They're all yellow right now. To have more skin tone diversity. Okay. All right, let's make this a little nicer. We still haven't done phase 6, but I don't even think we want a lot of these. I don't know if we want any of these. Probably just this one. It's phase 6. There's my phase 6 now. I see a question. Do I code in Rust as well? I have never coded in Rust. Now, I guess if enough people ask me, then we'll do a live code where I learn how to code in Rust. I have some colleagues that have definitely picked up Rust. My colleague Alfredo Deza, he recently moved on from Microsoft to do his own thing, but he was doing quite a lot of Rust. And obviously Rust is very popular in the Python community, with UV and Rough and Thai all written in Rust, and many other Python packages. So sure, it's something I'd want to learn one day. That's with the LLMs. Ideally, it's easier for us to dip in and out of of different languages, even if we're not experts in them, right? So you see, it's creating the to-dos, because I also have the to-dos tool from VS Code. So it has both this task.md and it has like the to-dos for each of the tasks it's doing, which is fine. I'm just not sure at this point whether you actually need the to-dos tool in VS Code. So sometimes I just turn it off. All right, so did a bunch of edits. So now you can see we have Spanish translation, and oh, we've got difficulty. That's kind of fun. Oh, that's good actually. So maybe we would add a filter for whether you want like which levels of difficulty you want. And let's see, we did food, actions, holidays, and then okay, good. So we got more diversity in this skin tone emojis here. That's nice. Okay. All right, and now it is updating the front end to support that. And so I think we did all the, okay. So we did all the steps. Let's just take a look at what else they have. So specify init, initialize the specify check. So this is all the agents it works with. No get here. Oh, here you go. Initialize project in the current directory instead of creating a new one. So that might be an option if you do want to try Spec Kit in an existing repo. It will bring in a lot of files, but I don't think it should override anything because they're all pretty unique. And it should confirm too, because notice there's a force. So, you know, it's not going to force by default. Yeah, so you could use it that way. And then here are the commands. We used a lot of them. We didn't use clarify because we just didn't use that at the right time. We didn't really properly use features. Maybe feature, I don't exactly understand the branches. If we were supposed to make a new branch at some point, we didn't do it. All right, so development phases, 0 to 1 development. Generate from scratch, creative exploration, parallel implementations, iterative enhancement, brownfield. That phrase always cracks me up. It's like a field full of manure. But add features iteratively. So it claims that you could use it for brownfield as well for existing projects, legacy projects, as you'd say. And there we go. Okay. And there's John Lamb. He's the new maintainer now that Den has gone to Anthropic. All right, so here we go. We've got some new stuff here. All right, languages. We can add on Espanol. Where's my Espanol at? All right, let's try clearing the cache. There we go. We're using, you know, JavaScript that could be cached in the browser. So that's kind of fun. If I do print cards. Okay, that's looking, ooh, that doesn't look so good. Look at that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Print CSS not so good. Uh-oh. The print CSS is splitting across page breaks. What it needs is something called, there's a CSS property for when to break the words. It's like, what is it? Word break or something like that. Let's see what it ends up doing. So that's a blocker. You need that. And then also like, it's not using the space very well because right now I'd have to print out page 2 to get these ones, but I feel like they would fit here. So it should do a better job at that. Let's see. Okay, so that's fun. Oh, it's because of using Shadow DOM. All right, so Shadow DOM is like the weirdest part of using web elements. So I'll show you again the web elements that we have. JS, okay, components. All right, so we have like this. This is called the Shadow DOM. The idea is that the CSS from the outside doesn't reach in to the inside. And sometimes that's good, but then sometimes that's bad. So you have to decide when you're making web elements if you want to use the Shadow DOM or if you want it so that those web elements are just like in the original DOM and are inheriting the CSS of the page. So in this case, it did decide to add this one, the break inside a void, page break inside a void, and it added it to the Shadow DOM CSS. The other approach would be that we could stop using Shadow DOM and have the CSS from the main page go into those elements. And so that's just something you have to decide when you're using web elements. All right, so now let's try it out, and then we'll print. Okay, that does look a lot better. Looks a lot better. That's great. So basically, it looks like it is fitting basically as much as it can. It's interesting that it does 3 rows on the first one and 4 on the second, but you know, things happen. Maybe because we're not using monospace. There's some, or the emojis might be slightly different sizes. But this is pretty reasonable. Like I could cut this out pretty well. All right. So that looks good. Oh, maybe we'll just say add a slider. Or so we need some sort of UI for specifying whether you want easy, medium, and hard. What do you suggest? Give me some ideas. Give me ideas. Maybe ASCII diagram them. I saw someone tweet today that they think it's a good idea to have the coding assistants like generate a mock-up in ASCII. Oh, this is great. Actually, this is a good idea. I'm going to tell him that I copied him. Okay. All right. So here's a few options. So we say, okay, checkbox fill, difficulty, easy, medium, hard. That's consistent. Toggle buttons, more visual. The slider is fun, but it is harder to implement the right. And then single drop downs, easy only, easy plus medium, medium plus hard. All right. Well, this is really cool though. I really like, I think that's a fun thing to do. So here, pro tip is when you're looking for UI feedback, have it make an ASCII diagram because wow, it did a really good job of that. I'm very impressed actually. Okay. I'm just gonna screenshot. All right. But wait, with all that said, I'm probably just gonna go, okay, option A. All right. And I think at this point, we've explored Spec Kit pretty well. And so probably gonna end the stream soon, but I thought it was really interesting to finally try out Spec Kit and see the approach it takes. It was interesting to see how they did the agents and the prompts, how they did the handoffs. I think handoffs are cool, right? So, you just think of Spec Kit as, it's inspiration, right? Like, so what would work for your organization or for your personal method of development? What could you take from Spec Kit that you like, right? Like, so maybe you don't need all of these things, but maybe you like the idea of having the plan and the tasks or something like that. Oh, there's also a task to issues. Ooh. So here it's going to look at all the available tasks and then make issues in this. Under no circumstances ever create issues in repositories that do not match the remote URL. That's an interesting one as well, isn't it? Okay. All right, so let's see. I think the thing is that I don't even have a remote right now. Let's commit. All right, so we added, oh yeah, let's check on these. Okay, difficulty, easy, medium, hard. We could remove the hard or even remove the medium for my toddler. All right, so that's cool. We could try doing task to issues. So let's try. So here, if I do task to issues right now, what's it going to do? It should error because there's no Git origin yet. Also, this tool the tool is not written correctly. It should be just GitHub / I think. GitHub. There we go. GitHub / issue, right? All right. So it is, I'm under the terminal tool is currently disabled. Okay. Oh yeah, because now that we're in this one, the only tool it has is issue write. So we need to give it access to the terminal. So we're just going to give it access to the terminal. Let's see. Which one's the terminal? Run in terminal. Okay. Try again. So I guess that's kind of a bug with this one because it says that it needs to run this, but you can't run this unless you have access to the terminal. So maybe we'll do a little pull request to Spec Kit. All right, so it's checking here. It sees that there is no remote origin. So it should say that we're going to add one. And it tells me to do it. Okay, you do it. It's your job. I'm just the manager. It's going to add an origin. I never made that repo though. Wouldn't I have to make that repo on GitHub? Or can you just add an origin even if you haven't made the repo? We'll find out soon. So does that okay, so let's see if this origin exists now. All right, it's creating issues for the incomplete tasks. Yeah, that repo doesn't exist. How is it gonna? All right, we'll find out soon. I'll create issues for the incomplete tasks. And I think it's gonna fail. Let's find out. Yeah, it doesn't exist. All right, let's help it out and make a new repo. Okay, new repo. Always got a new day, a new repo. That's what I always say. All right, new and Spec Kit demo. Is that what we called it? Spec Kit project. Spec Kit project. Example project using Spec Kit. Okay, start with a template, no template, no readme, no get ignore, no license, no jumpstart. Just create the repo. Okay. All right, so now we have the repo and let's try it again. Look at all these, okay. Lots and lots of issues here. Okay, allow. And it's failing on that. Not read properties of undefined. Oh, it's having a hard time. Try again. Try again. Let's see. Wait, I made I made the repo for you. Create a new, push an existing. All right, we did that. All right, create a new. Okay, so now I think it's working. If we go and look at the issues, so we can see issues. I know I haven't even pushed the code yet, but create GitHub pages deployment workflow. And so then I could assign that to Copilot, right? So we can start, you can like move from one to the other. I don't even know what the quickstart.md is. Quickstart.md. So this is making sure that everything works. Okay. Add image URL and image license. Interesting. Okay. Probably want to just do a little allow all for, okay, we're just going to say allow tools from GitHub MCP server in this session. Since the only tool that we've allowed is issue write anyway, and it's just doing it in this repo. All right, so what do we got? Image emoji toggle support image URL. All right, I think these are all part of adding Wikipedia support. How many is it going to add? Are these from like phase? Oh, this is from future. Okay, well, it's going to add a lot of tasks then because I think there was a lot in the future. Let's see, here we go, update, Okay, so it's basically going through each of these and adding a task. So that's an idea of something that you could do if you wanted, is to have an agent that could turn to-dos into, into GitHub issues. And this could be part of a workflow as well. But here it's, I'd rather do these issues locally, especially the future ones, because a lot of those actually should be done should be done like all together. It'd be kind of weird to delegate them to Copilot. Yeah, some of them you could, like number one, but the rest of them actually would be better to do locally. I just wanted to try that out. All right. All right, looks good, everyone. So I'm going to close the stream now. I'll push the actual code to the project as well, so you can check that in a few minutes. And thank you, as always, for joining the stream and saying hi in the chat. All right. Bye, everyone.